You know, I'm starting to think that Donald Trump has a fetish for getting his ass kicked in court. This past week, Donald Trump filed another new lawsuit, this time against the Pulitzer Prize Committee, and he's suing them for defamation because a couple years ago, Pulitzer Prize Committee issued the Pulitzer to the organizations, New York Times, Washington Post, who were reporting on Russiagate. You know, Russia's attempts to influence the 2016 election, possible. They never, by the way, said anything was definitive. They're just talking about possible links between some of Trump's people and the Russians, all of which, by the way, was in fact true, confirmed by the Mueller report. They were given the Pulitzer. Donald Trump's been pissed off about it ever since then. So not long ago, Donald Trump demanded that they retract these Pulitzer Prizes. He says, these people lied in their reports. So the Pulitzer Committee said, all right, you know what? We're going to go through. We're going to double check everything, triple check basically. Make sure we didn't give it to people who are out there lying. So they do another check and they issue this statement like, listen, based on everything that was available at the time, everything they've said is true and accurate based on all available information. That's what pissed Donald Trump off, so he is now suing them, claiming that this statement saying these people didn't lie was done with, quote, actual malice. I'll get more to that in a second. They did it with, quote, actual malice to harm me because they are, as he put it, the establishment's establishment. Here's the fun part. Nothing that Donald Trump claims in this lawsuit, first of all, indicates any wrongdoing by the Pulitzer Committee, but none of it actually meets the standard as what defamation actually is. Which is why I find it interesting that they had to include the phrase actual malice. A good lawyer, and I don't know which one of Donald Trump's lawyers filed this stupid lawsuit, but a good lawyer doesn't exactly have to spell out what they did using terms like actual malice. If you see the phrase actual malice in a defamation lawsuit, it's a pretty good indication that either the lawyer thinks the suit is so weak that he has to reiterate the point that the facts cannot speak for themselves, or you just got somebody who's like fresh out of law school and has never done this and thinks that you're supposed to say that. The facts of the case should speak for themselves when laid out in the filing. You shouldn't have to say, they acted with actual malice. You should be able to show, here's what they did, and somebody reading it will say, holy shit, that's actual malice. So in order to have a defamation lawsuit, you do have to have the actual malice, which means they knew what they were doing was false. They did it anyway because they didn't care. You also have to prove that the intent was to harm the subject. Subject being Donald Trump. You also have to prove that they either did it to financially hurt the individual or to financially enrich themselves, a point that you will never be able to make against the Pulitzer Committee. You're not going to reach any of the standards, by the way. So now the only question is how long until this case gets laughed out of court? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, and by the way, he filed it in Florida like a dumbass. So now when it gets laughed out of court, because it, happened in Florida, the Pulitzer Committee can hit him with an anti-SLAPP lawsuit and basically nail him for a couple $100,000. So good choice on the venue shopping there. You're going to be screwed when all this is over.
This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.